Mental asylum workers, who's the most memorable patient you've ever worked with? His name was Gregory, and he only spoke once a day, right after breakfast. He'd sit in the rec room, sip his orange juice, and say one sentence that made everyone's skin crawl. Someone's going to die today. At first, all of us ignored him. Gregory had been in and out of mental hospitals his whole adult life. Schizophrenia, they said. Delusions. Nothing new for us workers. But then Nurse Janet collapsed in the parking lot that same afternoon. Massive heart attack. Dead before the ambulance arrived. We figured it was just a coincidence. People die all the time, right? But the next week, Gregory did it again. Same routine. Orange juice, same chair, same creepy voice. Someone's going to die today. That night, our night cook Eddie never made it home. His car wrapped around a tree on Highway 9. Police said he fell asleep at the wheel. That's when we started paying attention. I mean, really paying attention. We began writing down everything Gregory said and checking obituaries, hospital records, anything we could find. For 6 straight months, Gregory was right every single time. Sometimes it was a patient who had a stroke in their sleep. Sometimes it was a staff member's spouse whose cancer suddenly got worse. Sometimes it was random people we'd never heard of, but their names would show up in the paper the next day. We called in specialists from the university, psychiatrists, neurologists, even some professor who studied paranormal psychology. Nobody could explain it. Gregory couldn't explain it either. When doctors asked him how he knew, he'd just shrug and say he didn't want to know. He just did. The whole staff was on edge. Every morning after breakfast, we'd all gather around and wait for Gregory's daily prediction like it was the weather report from hell. Some nurses started calling in sick just to avoid hearing it. But then one Tuesday morning, Gregory said something different. Something that made my blood freeze. This place will burn. Holy shit. We took that seriously. Fire drills every day. The maintenance team checked every single outlet, every space heater, every piece of kitchen equipment twice. The fire department came through and gave us a clean inspection. Nothing was wrong. Everything looked perfect. 2 weeks later, we had a new patient, 17-year-old Caleb, who'd tried to burn down his family's garage. During intake, security missed the tiny lighter he'd hidden under his tongue. Rookie mistake. It was 3 a.m. when the smoke started. Caleb had lit a mop in the supply closet and the whole thing went up fast. Our smoke detectors had been acting up for weeks. Budget cuts meant we kept putting off repairs. But Gregory was already awake, already moving. He pulled the emergency fire alarm before any of us even smelled smoke. Then he did something that still gives me chills. He led 4 of us to a window exit that hadn't been used in 15 years. The lock was rusted shut, but Gregory kicked it open like he'd done it 100 times before. We got everyone out through that window, all 36 patients and 8 staff members. The main exits were already blocked by smoke. If Gregory hadn't known about that old window, half of us would have died. After that night, Gregory went completely silent for 3 weeks. Wouldn't even eat breakfast in the rec room, just sat in his bed staring at the wall. Then finally, on a Thursday morning, he came back to his usual chair. He picked up his orange juice, took a sip, and said something that made everyone in the room stop breathing. No one's going to die today, and nobody did. That was the last thing Gregory ever said. He died peacefully in his sleep 2 days later.